What's up, everybody? I'm Justin Porter, and I'm here with head track and field and cross country coach Wes Miller. I wanted to sit here and talk with him about sort of how this first year felt for him and how this first year felt for the team, what kinds of things that you guys were looking for, and what did you get out of the regular season. So I want to lead off with what were some of the goals that you had going into this season, being your first year here, coming off of that year where they sort of had like a falling off with no coach or anything. So what were your goals going into this year?
Yeah, just biggest goal, establish a culture and kind of a set of expectations of how we're going to operate, how we're going to train, how we approach competitions, and just how they compete, you know. Building a bigger team where it doesn't feel like a bunch of individuals, but it feels like a team and everybody's fighting for each other.
All right. And so coming off of that, what did you see this year where you felt like you guys were sort of building that competition back up in the team and you guys were seeing some good things coming out of the athletes that you guys had come in this year?
Yeah, so the season, a lot of first-year athletes, so a lot of freshmen. We did have multiple athletes come out from other sports, and it was their first time doing track in college. They might have run it in high school. So it was a big adjustment period. They got to see some big competition. Our first meet indoor was at University of New Mexico, and there were Power 5 teams, Pac-12, Big Ten. So a lot of wide eyes lined up next to USC and UCLA and Arizona, New Mexico, schools like that. But I think it was good to set the tone for the year. And it really gave them, some of them, it gave them goals like, okay, that's the level I got to be at if I want to be competitive in college. So the rest of the season definitely saw a lot of improvements, not just in performance, but just how they conduct themselves, you know, each given week and making adjustments in between competitions. Yeah. So.
Okay, so coming off of that, talking about that meet where they were facing up against some guys where it's just like, oh my. Talk to me about what was sort of the most challenging meet that you felt your athletes were just really challenged to either be better or they felt like, okay, like you said, okay, this is where I need to be, so I got some work to do.
I think that one was, you know, we did go to Texas Tech as well. That was a big meet, outdoor. So that was our outdoor opener. Yeah. Was Texas Tech, and it's the same thing. It's a big meet. Texas Tech had just come off winning the NCAA men's championship, so they've got a loaded team. But that was a good meet for us. We had some good season best performances, and again, kind of same deal. Kind of set the tone for outdoor season, and the rest of the way they responded well, and I think we had a good lead up into conference.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of conference, you guys had one SAC champion, and then you guys had a lot of events where you placed second and third. How did that feel going into the first conference tournament and you guys came out on top of a lot of events?
Sure. No, it's great. Anytime you can get it on the podium, I mean, we're a 9-team conference, so there are a lot of athletes competing in every event. You know, we had a multitude of runner-up finishes, and I kind of thought, well, we're going to have a ton of medals and we won't have a champion, but we did end up with a conference champion and a lot of medals from a lot of newcomers this year. So it's pretty encouraging looking forward, and you know, for a small team, and we had a lot of athletes that we redshirted this year. And we ended up coming out 4th and 5th, which was pretty awesome. And the women were the big turnaround. You know, they scored a point last year, and got dead last, and we got 5th and scored 53 points. That's so good. It was a pretty good turnaround.
So what goes into redshirting some athletes and then picking on the ones that you want to compete?
Sure. Yeah. So we had a couple transfers that came in January, and they redshirted indoor. And then we had a few athletes that transferred in that we redshirted for the whole season. Some were junior college athletes, and they need 2 more years to graduate. And you know, we made the decision to redshirt. Okay. And you know, it buys us time for another recruiting class, and so I think it'll pay off for the next 2 years. Yeah. Having some veteran leadership there.
I hear you. So, speaking of SAC championships, you guys are going into the NCCAA championships now in South Carolina. What athletes qualified for that meet, and what events are you looking forward to going into this championships?
Sure. No, we're pretty well represented. We had athletes qualify on the men's side in the 100, the 200, the 400, 800, 1500, 400 hurdles, 4x1 and 4x4. Oh, okay. As well as field events, the long and triple jump. So pretty well represented on the men's side. On the women's side, it's a smaller group, but we definitely have scoring opportunities. We'll have qualifiers in the 100, 200, 400, long jump and triple jump. So.
Okay. So that's a lot of opportunities to make something happen. I know that you guys are coming up. After that will be the NAIA championships. What are some of the goals? I know it's going to be a smaller group, but what are some of the goals that you have just for those individual athletes, and what do you look for them to do there? Right.
Yeah. So in training, it's a balance of, we want to go to NCCAs and do well, but we're still a couple weeks out from NAIAs, so it's kind of a last chance. One, it's an opportunity to go compete at a national championship meet and contend to win an individual title, and then obviously a team score. But it's also their last opportunity to compete and tune up before NAIAs. So that's if they can improve, even if they don't, qualify in a new event, if they can improve their time, they improve their seed going into NAIAs, which can get them a better lane draw or a better chance to qualify for the finals. So
okay. I got you. And what I wanted to ask you the most is, out of everything that's already been passed this year, you guys are done with the SAC championships now, you're done with the regular season, had indoor and outdoor. What's something that you can take from this season where you feel like it's a really good positive?
I'll say the team, I'm excited about the culture that they have set. We got a really, really good core group of men and women, and so I'm excited to see the newcomers come in. We have a good signing class already for next year, and they're hungry. Like you said, a lot of the returners were sophomores, and so their freshman year they kind of went without a lot of structure, and they really bought in to this year, and they're excited for next year. They want to come back and place higher at conference and NCCAs, and make a decent team run at the NAIA level as well next year. So the takeaway is just they've bought in, they've been resilient, and they've really fought.
Yeah. Speaking of recruiting, you said you had a good class coming in. Talk to me about what were some of the goals after you have been through this year to go into the recruiting season now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the good thing with getting to see a year is you get to see what level the other teams in the conference are at in individual events, and that kind of directs your recruiting. Being at the SAC championship, we were definitely able to identify a few areas that we can sign some athletes to, score points in some events that we didn't this year. And it does help you, gauge, I guess, the marks that you want to recruit. Yeah. Because that's the goal is, in track is the end of season meets. The regular season is training. It's good for qualifying, but you really get judged in track and field in one or two meets a year. So that was good for them to get to see where we're at as a coaching staff, get to see the SAC championship in person.
And the last thing I got for you, Coach, what would you say is probably the most exciting moment for you throughout this year, coming into this first year of coaching here at Wayland?
I think it's just the family we built with the team. It's been a long year. We start training September 1st, and we go all fall just training, and it's been exciting, the relationships we built as a coaching staff with some of these athletes, and they're great people, good competitors. They've got a lot of discipline, good people of character, men and women of God. So it's been an exciting year. That's been fun.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I got for you, Coach. So they'll be heading, as we said earlier, to South Carolina for the NCCAA National Championships, and then after that, they'll take a couple more team members to the NAIA Championships in where again?
Marion, Indiana.
Marion, Indiana.
Yep.
So good luck to you, Coach, and I appreciate you taking time to talk to me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.